The book is called Grave Error: How the Media Misled Us and the Truth About Indian Residential Schools. And Dr. Tom joins us now from Calgary. Well, I'm talking to you before you're charged and convicted and imprisoned. This may be one of your few interviews, or actually, it may be the interview that causes you to be jailed. I'm half joking, of course, but of course, the other side is not joking. They have been talking about criminalizing what they call denialism, which is strange. I'm not sure what you have to deny to be a denier and to be prosecutable, but I think the whole thing, it works even if they don't have the answer, because it's just designed to scare people into self-censoring, don't you think?
I think it is, yeah. And, but fortunately I'm retired. I don't have to worry about losing my livelihood. You go back to the old song, me and Bobby McGee, Janis Joplin singing, "Freedom's just another thing for nothing left to lose." So I've kind of reached that point. I'm 79 years old. I can say what I want without worrying about, supporting myself, my wife, my children, etc. And so our book, it's a compendium of efforts by about a dozen people who've been working on this issue. And most of us are retired. Most of us are at that point where we have some protection against intimidation. And interestingly, a couple of the younger contributors don't want their names known, and they're contributing under pseudonyms. I mean, they're that afraid. This is the first time in more than 50 years of research in Canada that I've encountered a situation of colleagues who are afraid of having their names publicized and want to be want to be anonymous. We're dealing here, so with some pretty serious issues that could have consequences.
The word genocide is thrown about so casually these days. The former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court called Canada a genocidal regime. She used that word. Justin Trudeau picked it up. It's now thrown around handily. It's funny because Trudeau, of course, will not call what China is doing in Xinjiang province a genocide. He doesn't want to hurt their feelings, but he condemns Canada as a genocidal regime. Pope Francis himself has said that it has the hallmarks of a genocide. I'm not sure if that's true. I know a few alumni of these Indian residential schools. I think of two people in particular, both of whom said it was not just not bad, but it was a wonderful thing. It put them on a path for success in the modern world. And in fact, one fellow who I interviewed when I was at Sun News said at his family reunions, the entire family would reminisce about the time at these schools, and not one of them had a complaint. I know some Holocaust survivors. Many of them are dying now. I've never in my life encountered a Holocaust survivor who ever looked back on their time in Auschwitz or another death camp with fondness. Like never. Like there's no doubt about it whatsoever. So to use the word genocide to describe these Indian residential schools in the face of these alumni who said, no, actually it was sort of great. It taught me life skills. That is a shocking appropriation and dilution of the word genocide in my mind, and the word denier too.
Yeah, the use of the word genocide it's a tactic of raising the rhetorical stakes, making it more emotional. There's been a trajectory here. Before genocide, we had cultural genocide. That was the term that was used in the conclusion of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So only a few years ago, the TRC explicitly denied that the treatment of Canada's Indians was a genocide. They said it was, however, a cultural genocide, which was really just a synonym for assimilation, allowing Indians to penetrate in the larger society. But a few years later, we see people using just the word genocide. So genocide refers to the actual killing of people. So they have to have dead bodies to support the use of the term. And that's where the Kamloops mythology comes in. The Kamloops announcement appeared to provide the proof of genocide. If there were hundreds of bodies scattered around the residential school and nobody knew about them before, this would be proof of all these deaths. We now know, though, and the people who did that announcement should have known that what the ground penetrating radar was finding was a sewage system. In the 1920s, the school installed a big septic tank. This was before they could connect to city sewage. They installed a big septic tank, and then if you have the septic tank, you have to have a way of dispersing the fluids. So you use a weeping tile and bury it and create a network of pipes radiating out, or tiles radiating out. So those tiles are still in the ground. The system isn't used anymore, but the tiles are still buried in the ground. And so what that ground penetrating radar was finding was probably those tiles. We don't know for sure because the report has never been released, so you can't compare the map, but that's what it looks like. So there's nothing there. No excavation has taken place at Kamloops. Where excavations have taken place at a few other sites, nothing has been discovered. So until some evidence comes up, you just have to say there's nothing there.